Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that quite literally deals with life and breath. And it's one you've probably encountered without even realizing it. You've scrolled through social media, seen the ads, maybe even felt that chilling pang of what if. We're talking about those anti-choking devices that seem to pop up, well, everywhere online. The promise is simple, almost miraculous, a quick, easy way to save a life, maybe even your own if you or someone you love is choking. But as always, we have to ask, are these promises, too good to be true? Our mission for this deep dive, pulled from a fascinating YouTube review and a host of other sources, is to really unpack the claims of one such device, ChokeHero. We're going to examine its supposed benefits, scrutinize its endorsements, and most importantly, see how it stacks up against what actual medical experts recommend. It's all about cutting through the hype to help you sort through what's genuinely helpful versus what might just be, well, preying on our deepest fears.
And what's profoundly fascinating here is the sheer emotional appeal of a simple solution in an emergency. Choking is an utterly terrifying situation. It's sudden, it's life-threatening, and it can leave anyone feeling utterly helpless. The idea that a device could offer a fast, effective intervention, especially if you're alone or if traditional methods aren't working, is incredibly compelling. It taps into a very human need for control and safety. But as we'll meticulously uncover, that very compelling narrative means we need to approach such products with a very careful, skeptical eye, one that goes far beyond just the initial emotional response to such a high-stakes problem.
Okay, let's unpack this with ChokeHero specifically. This device has been making quite a splash on social media, often appearing in viral videos. Their primary pitch is that it's an anti-choking device that uses suction to pull out whatever's stuck in an airway. They claim it's universally effective, designed for both kids and adults, boasts reusability, and crucially, is simple enough for anyone to use, even on themselves. Imagine being alone and choking and seeing an ad that promises this simple tool could save your life. It's a powerful message, especially for single parents, caregivers, or, those living by themselves. On the surface, it sounds like a perfect solution, doesn't it?
Indeed, the fundamental concept of using suction to clear an airway is what makes these devices so intriguing. And for specific trained medical uses, suction is a vital tool. The theory that a simple portable device could provide that crucial intervention in mere seconds without specialized training is very attractive to the general public. However, the step from an intriguing concept to proven, consistent efficacy and safety, especially for a widely marketed product like this, involves, well, significant hurdles. When we're talking about something that could mean the difference between life and death across a broad user base, we need to move beyond mere intrigue and demand rigorous, independently verified proof of concept and reliable performance. A theoretical mechanism is one thing. Consistent life-saving capability in the hands of an untrained user, for all scenarios, is quite another entirely. The human airway and the dynamics of choking are incredibly complex.
And as we began to dig into ChokeHero, one of the most striking things that consistently popped up in our sources was their prominent claim: FDA registered. For many of us, that instantly sounds like a stamp of government approval, right? A sign of rigorous testing and a bedrock of trust. It suggests a certain level of vetting and endorsement has occurred, doesn't it?
This raises an incredibly important question, and it's a point of confusion even for those, well-versed in health regulations. What does FDA registered actually mean? It's often strategically presented by companies to imply a level of endorsement it simply doesn't possess. In reality, being registered with the FDA simply means the company has listed their product and manufacturing facility with the agency primarily for bureaucratic and tracking purposes. It's a basic administrative step.
Just administrative, so not approved.
Yeah, exactly. Crucially, it does not mean it's approved, cleared, tested, or endorsed for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. To put it another way, anyone can register a product as long as they pay a fee and provide basic information. It's akin to registering your business address with the City Hall. It doesn't mean the City Hall has evaluated or approved your products or services.
Wow.
This distinction is absolutely critical for you, the consumer, to understand because it's a difference between merely being on a list and being rigorously vetted as safe and effective for its intended life-saving purpose. Companies deliberately blur this line, and it's a tactic you'll see not just in medical devices, but across health supplements, beauty products, and even certain tech gadgets.
Okay.
Always look for approval or clearance, not just registration.
That clarification between registered and approved is incredibly deceptive. And it sounds like the misleading tactics don't stop at regulatory language. Our sources really highlighted some concerning issues with their supposed endorsements, didn't they? Specifically, they prominently showcase a British paramedic named Mark Ellis, supposedly backing the product front and center on their marketing materials, lending what seems like professional credibility. But here's the kicker. No one can find any verifiable proof this guy exists.
No proof at all.
None. No legitimate professional credentials, no LinkedIn profile that matches, no trace in any medical registries. Some people even suspect his photo might be a generic stock image pulled from a database.
Oh, like those stock photos.
Exactly. Which frankly reminds me of those generic stock images we've all seen of smiling business people high-fiving in a conference room. You wouldn't trust them with your life, and certainly not with medical advice. This is a huge, flashing red flag when you're talking about a product meant to save lives.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the broader picture of medical product credibility, the complete lack of verifiable credentials for an endorser, particularly one explicitly presented as a medical professional, is a profound red flag. Trust in medical devices is built on transparency and legitimate expert backing. When you can't confirm the identity or professional standing of someone presented as an expert, it casts a deep shadow of doubt over the entire operation and the integrity of the product itself.
Right.
In the medical field, expertise is paramount, and it's always accompanied by clear, traceable qualifications. The ease with which one can conjure a fake persona online means that for you, the listener, your due diligence needs to extend to the credibility of the endorsers. The absence of such transparency should immediately make you question the integrity of the claims being made, especially for something as critical as an anti-choking device.
Beyond these individual questionable claims, there's a broader and even more concerning issue: a complete lack of legitimate medical backing. You won't find any certification or endorsement from widely trusted health bodies like the NHS in the UK or the CE mark, which is critical for safety and quality in Europe. In fact, our deep dive revealed that no major reputable medical organization appears to support this device.
None.
It seems not. This isn't just a minor oversight, it's a glaring omission when a product is positioned as a life-saving medical device. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other products out there, especially those marketed to our vulnerabilities, are operating in this ethical gray area, blurring lines between legitimacy and outright deception?
This absence of support from established medical organizations is, without exaggeration, extremely concerning for any product claiming to be life-saving. These bodies, like the American Heart Association, the American Red Cross, and global regulatory agencies, rigorously test and approve devices, conducting extensive trials and scrutinizing every aspect of their design, function, and safety. Their endorsement signifies a high level of safety and efficacy, indicating that the device meets stringent medical standards and has proven its worth through evidence. Their silence, or rather their lack of endorsement, speaks volumes. It suggests that the product either hasn't sought their approval or, more troubling, hasn't met the necessary criteria for validation.
Right, so either they didn't try or they failed.
Precisely. For something as critical as an anti-choking device, this lack of endorsement from the very institutions tasked with safeguarding public health is a serious cause for alarm. It's a classic example of how a slick marketing campaign can attempt to outpace genuine medical consensus. We've seen this pattern before, whether it's unproven dietary supplements or miracle cures that spread like wildfire online, only to be debunked years later.
Yeah.
The common thread is always a promise that sounds too good to be true, bypassing the slow, rigorous process of scientific validation.
And to complicate matters further, a lot of people are pointing out that ChokeHero might not even be an original product. There are strong suggestions it's a knockoff, a cheap copy of a better-known device called LifeVac, which has a longer history and a more established, albeit still debated, reputation.
Ah, the knockoff angle.
Yeah. LifeVac itself has reportedly warned that ChokeHero could be a cheap copy, probably just rebranded and drop-shipped from overseas. This means it's manufactured cheaply elsewhere, often with questionable quality control, and then simply given a new name and marketed aggressively. There are even reports from our sources of people ordering ChokeHero and either getting scammed entirely, never receiving a product, or receiving something that simply doesn't work as advertised. Or at the very least, doesn't feel like it would work in a real emergency, which is profoundly unsettling. It's unsettling to think that in a desperate situation, someone could reach for a device, believing it's their last hope, and it could be little more than a cheap plastic prop. That's a profound breach of trust.
The prevalence of knockoff products, especially in the medical sphere, presents truly serious and often hidden risks. When you purchase a cheap copy, You might receive a product of inferior quality, made with substandard materials or manufactured without any meaningful quality control.
Right. You get what you pay for, but worse.
Exactly. This isn't just about getting less for your money. In a choking emergency, reliability is literally a matter of life or death. An unverified or poorly manufactured device might fail at the most critical moment. Perhaps the suction isn't strong enough, the seal is inadequate, or a component breaks under stress. This could potentially exacerbate the situation, or at best offer no assistance at all.
Which is terrifying.
It is. Furthermore, the lack of a clear, traceable manufacturing chain means there's no accountability for product defects or safety issues. If something goes wrong, who do you turn to? This is a stark reminder of why sourcing and legitimacy are so crucial for any device meant to intervene in a medical crisis. The danger is not just that it doesn't work, but that by trying to use it, you might delay or prevent the use of proven effective interventions.
So, if the medical backing is so thin, the endorsements are suspicious, and there are serious concerns about it being a potentially dangerous knockoff, what's really pushing this device? It all comes down to the massive, relentless social media advertising. Tons of ads are aggressively targeting people in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, you name it. The marketing is super aggressive and, frankly, plays unashamedly on fear. It taps into that primal anxiety we all have about being helpless in an emergency, especially when it concerns loved ones or ourselves when we're alone.
Absolutely. The use of fear in marketing, especially when stakes are this high, isn't just effective, it's often predatory. It bypasses our rational decision-making and targets our primal anxieties about survival and protection. Think about the scenarios these ads often depict. A parent seeing an ad showing their child in distress, or an elderly person living alone envisioning a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, those are powerful images.
Extremely. These campaigns often rely on a quick, viral spread through social media algorithms, rather than traditional, evidence-based medical validation. You might see a compelling video demonstration or a harrowing testimonial that triggers an immediate emotional need to buy, without pausing to consider the broader medical consensus.
Impulse buying a lifesaver.
Essentially. For you, the listener, recognizing this tactic is your first line of defense. If a product's primary appeal is urgency and fear, it's a huge signal to pause and scrutinize its claims even more rigorously, because emotional decisions often lead to suboptimal outcomes in critical situations. These platforms are designed to amplify what resonates emotionally, and unfortunately, fear is a powerful motivator.
And what do the real medical experts say? When we look to the gold standard, big, globally recognized organizations like the FDA, the American Red Cross, and the American Heart Association,
The big names, yeah.
they all unequivocally recommend sticking to tried-and-true methods in a choking emergency, back blows, and the Heimlich maneuver. These are techniques that have been taught and proven effective for decades across countless real-world scenarios, and their physiological mechanisms are well understood. They specifically do not recommend devices like ChokeHero. In fact, they don't even mention them as viable alternatives in their official guidelines for the general public.
This provides a crystal clear contrast. The consensus from globally recognized health bodies is unequivocally in favor of well-established, proven techniques that empower individuals with knowledge and physical skills. These methods are widely taught in first aid and CPR courses, have decades of documented success, and crucially, don't rely on a specific device that may or may not be effective, or even present when an emergency strikes.
Right, you always have your hands.
Exactly. The absence of these devices from official guidelines from such authoritative sources is not an oversight. It's a deliberate choice based on extensive scientific evidence, clinical trials, and safety evaluations. Their recommendations are grounded in robust research and real-world outcomes, offering you the most reliable and universally accessible path to intervention in a choking situation. Learning basic first aid for choking equips you with tools that are always available, making you genuinely prepared.
So what's the verdict from our deep dive into the sources, you ask? It's probably not a total scam in the sense that you might actually get a product if you order it.
You might get something in the mail, yeah.
But what you will likely receive is a low-quality, overpriced version of something you could probably find on Alibaba for a fraction of the price. It's definitely not the miracle lifesaver it's hyped up to be, and it certainly doesn't come with the peace of mind of genuine medical endorsement or rigorous safety testing.
Ultimately, for you, the learner seeking quick, accurate, and actionable information, the takeaway is clear. When considering any product for a life-threatening situation, Always prioritize verifiable medical backing, transparent testing, and the unequivocal recommendations of trusted health organizations over aggressive social media marketing.
Do your homework.
Absolutely. Investigate the claims and stick to proven methods. Your safety and the safety of those around you should never be left to chance or unverified claims.
What an eye-opening deep dive. It's a powerful reminder to always scrutinize claims, especially when they involve our health and safety. The allure of a quick fix is incredibly strong, tapping into our deepest fears and vulnerabilities, but true preparedness and confidence often come from reliable, evidence-based knowledge and a healthy skepticism towards persuasive marketing.
And here's a provocative thought for you to consider. In a world saturated with information and persuasive marketing, from health gadgets to investment opportunities, how do you personally determine the line between an innovative solution backed by genuine evidence and a potentially dangerous solution? What criteria do you lean on when your gut instinct might be telling you one thing, but the evidence, or lack thereof, suggests another? How do you cultivate that critical, discerning eye in your daily information consumption?
Exactly. Those are the questions we should all be asking ourselves constantly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we encourage you to keep questioning, keep learning, and keep being well informed. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating.